Yep. Good.
So, I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm going to tell you, first of all, I'm really happy about the fact that I think we've brought the most unique Americans to Kazakhstan that ever came. And I think we brought more than anybody else. So we're here to do a bunch of firsts, right? Qosil, I was told, and correct my pronunciation. Am I saying it right? It means connected. It's a Kazakh word. But is it Qosil? Is it Qosil? How am I supposed to say it? Qosil. Qosil. Okay. I'll have to work on that. Qosil. I have to. So, Qosil, we're here. Let me tell you a little bit about us. We are a, okay, there we go. Okay, so we are a company that has its foundation in the United States. We are based out of Atlanta, Georgia, which, if you know, is the home to Coca-Cola, Home Depot, Delta, all of those guys. We have the busiest airport in the entire world. And we would like to believe that we are the international city of the southeastern United States. We have the third largest port in the world, in the country, not the world, in the country, inside Savannah. And we're trying our best to be an international space. Our company has done work for over 22 years now. We've taken on 3 different names since we started in our founding. We were started out at Millennium 2. We changed up a little later on, and then we took on to Genius Co. And now Genius Co Support Services is the full owner of Qosil, which is our subsidy here in Kazakhstan. We are tech geeks. I'm going to take 30 minutes to kind of explain who we are, and we're going to get really deep into the content. We're tech geeks. We have literally 20 plus years experience doing implementations for Global 2000 companies. So we've done a lot of work, a lot of implementations for billions and billions of dollars of companies and hundreds of thousands of users inside those companies. In addition to that, I'm going the wrong way. What we've done for Kazakhstan specifically is that we built a team of 6 people that have a combined knowledge in big data of 150 years. That's not to be laughed at, that's serious. Because these guys, I'll introduce one of them right now, like Shahid here, or Gerard Sanders. They, every single day, do integration, big data, Hadoop data lakes for billions of dollars of companies. Every single day. If you want to know how it runs at the best companies in the world, there's one of the experts right there in front of you. And that's one of the unique things about Qosil, is that we're trying to bring that level of expertise to Kazakhstan. We want to bring that level of expertise to Central Asia and also to Africa. So anywhere, our operating space is from the edge of China all the way back to Casablanca. And that's where we are building our company and building our expertise so that we can bring the knowledge back to everybody else. Out of that 150 years, we've done work for companies like this. Some of those are Atlanta companies. Big Rail like CSX. CSX is the largest rail company in the United States. Cox Media Group, we're helping them with a huge acquisition, a $3 billion acquisition to a $256 billion company that they're undergoing right now. And we're managing all the processes for new product development, for growing a company. They own 11% of the television network in the United States, and they're growing to 40%. And we are literally controlling all of the IT processes and methodologies, big data, integrations, everything for that entire company through that transition. Coca-Cola, if you're not in Atlanta, you ain't working with Coca-Cola, then you ain't really done nothing. And if you haven't been fired from Home Depot, then you're doing something wrong. Autodesk and other names, Dow Chemicals, Turner. I put a couple of them up here because I just want to show diversity of what we work on. We worked on a lot more companies than this, but this is just the diversity. Everything from media to chemicals to television to sugar water, you know, Coca-Cola. You name it, we've had some part in it. So the question becomes, why Kazakhstan? Why in the world did we decide to come to Kazakhstan and do anything? Well, for people who know better, it's an obvious answer. But those who don't know, Kazakhstan has historically been the center of the Silk Road, and with the project, $20 trillion coming out of China for OBOR, it's evident that China can't leave to the west without going through Kazakhstan first. And of course the AIFC knows that, of course other people know that, but back at home in the US, most people don't know that. But we know that if we want a shot at being part of this amazing trend that's happening, right? We have an economic superpower outdoing our country for the very first time. We have all kinds of movement. We have literally 5.6 billion people coming online within the next 5 to 10 years. I try to explain this to some people. I say, you know, Google, which has a huge valuation, Amazon, which just had $1 trillion valuation, Apple, which had $1 trillion valuation. These companies have been built on the backside of 1.6 billion internet users. So there are companies that you don't know the name of today that will be 4 times bigger than those companies once these people come online. And that's what we're here to be a part of. We're here to facilitate that and work with that and share the knowledge of how we've done it in the past. Our scope is to work from Beijing to Casablanca. Currently, Qosil is located here. We wanted, very importantly, we wanted to make Qosil, we wanted to use a Kazakh name, we wanted to put the main office in Kazakhstan at the AIFC, we wanted to promote the concept of what I call, personally I call the Switzerland of the East, you know, and realize that, hey, you know, this is the only place where Russia, China, and the United States all get along, where the president can sit at all those presidents' tables and everybody smiles. You know, it's really the only place in the world that that happens. It literally happens nowhere else. So that's our main office, and we're putting our main office here in this building. But we've also registered Qosil Hangzhou. We're around the corner from Alibaba. We also, in New Cairo, which the Suez Canal, big new port is going there that the Chinese are building now, as well as they're redirecting the entire city. Also Qosil Morocco, which we're inside of Tangier and down towards Casablanca, Marrakesh. And then we have Qosil in Nigeria that we're working on now. Our partner here is from Shahid Systems inside of Nigeria. He came all the way to Kazakhstan in order to show exactly how far our reach are. That some of our partners are like this, and some of our partners are like that, and we have the ability to put those partners together so they can do things in an amazing way. And then we're targeted to grow and do Qosil Djibouti, Dubai, and Malaysia over the next 2 years. We're doing that because of what we are. As a real-time data exchange and data governance partner, we want to ensure that data flows easily between all these places in real time at the drop of a bucket. So we're vested in building edge computing, increasing data centers in those areas. We're trying to increase data centers here in Kazakhstan as well, and we're making those investments. And then we're also trying to increase data flow, real-time data flow, by bringing really good, great technology to do so. Our methodology is to facilitate the growth of local companies. This is where we're different, because there are a lot of American companies, there are a lot of European companies out there. They show up at the door. I can name some of the big names, but they show up, they take the money, they leave, right? Like I said, I was just laughing a second ago because as we were talking, I just got the notification to come pick up my 10-year visa in Kazakhstan. I'm here to stay. My wife lives here. My children, I have 4 children here in Astana. You know, that we're here. We moved here. In my house right now, there's 12 of my family members from the United States in my house in Astana, right? We're not going anywhere. We plan to work with Nazarbayev University. We plan to work and put our knowledge in as many people's heads and hands as possible during that time. During that facilitation, what's unique about us is that we partner with local companies in a very intricate method. Here we're working with a company that's called Mire's Desk that launched Auto Data. A lot of guys know Mire's from the stuff he does with the government and other things. We partner with him. We're also partnered with Zaman Bank, which is another AIFC member. And then also we are partnered in Nigeria. These are just 2, by the way. So there's several with SSNL, which is Shahid Systems. There's the owner of Shahid Systems right there. He's also a member of the U.S. Nigerian Chamber of Commerce. And also, we have the opportunity, because of our American companies, we actually sign contracts and deals in America in order to bring American tech over here as well that can be used in this way. So we also can sign a deal in Nigeria with our Nigerian company, and we can bring that in Kazakhstan. We can take a company in Kazakhstan that has a great solution. We can help to localize it. We deal with one of the largest translators in the world out of Egypt that can localize software, and then we can launch it in other places in Africa. We can do that for our partners. So we work with our partners very tightly. in order to do this for our customers. Now, the way we see this is that every customer, especially here in Kazakhstan, are along this path, especially in Africa, Central Asia, and all the way back. You are either at stage 1, which means that you're at the beginning of your digitization process. Stage 2 is when you've gone past digitization, you have tons of data flooding in, you've got all the systems working, and now you need to think about data governance, because it's going to get sloppy really quick. Then you're at stage 3, which is cross-organizational integration, and from there we actually think about how we can integrate you with other organizations. So we think about first how to get your data house right, but then how to get you connected to the people you do work with, both your customers, your vendors, in your supply chain as well as in your value chain. The government, all these types of things, we want you interconnected in such a way where you're fully optimized. That's cross-organizational integration. And then integrated operations. Now that's the point where your operations just keeps going on. You're fully integrated. You're at the top level of what IT can provide. It's the holy grail for every company in the world, right? And that is a partner space. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is how we map this. Qosil's on the bottom, the partner's on the top. That's intentional. We're always looking out for the local partner more than ourselves. We have no desire to be the top anything in any country beyond what we already do. We would like to be the top ERP provider in Kazakhstan, not to be Russian 1S, but to be whatever Kazakh system comes out of this entire thing, right? It makes no sense to have digital Kazakhstan if we don't have digital systems from Kazakhstan, right? And we want to help that happen. So in the beginning, we engage our customers in a really simple way. 30 days, let us come in. We will analyze all your processes, top to bottom. It takes us about 3 days to do that. And I know, like, I've talked to some of our partners in Kazakhstan, and I told them it takes us 3 days to go through a $500 million company and figure out everything that they're doing. And he said, that's impossible. I said, it's because you don't know us. It's just that simple. Then we proved it to him. We did it with Algorithmic Electric. We're doing it with Pharma. We're doing it with other companies right now as we speak, right? So it took us less than a week to figure out everything that was going on, right? So once we do that, we then come back in and we implement, and we're also starting to work with the algorithm. We implement our software. Once we implement the software, we go in and we catalog, which is what this class will be about, is how we actually do data cataloging. But we're able to look at every system you have, no matter what it is, and find all your data like that. It takes us about 2 days. Once we do it, it looks for all the relationships of the data, even if the databases are not connected. You got a system over here and a system over there. You got a POS system that's in the retail system, and you got a warehouse management system that's in the back house in your warehouse. They've never seen each other, but there's some data about users that are connected. We can connect that data for you, tell you what all the relationships are within 3 days. We do that to then derive one thing, a dashboard. The dashboard that we give you at the end of the 30 days has money on it. It tells you how much money you're losing by not automating certain things. It tells you how much money you will gain if you do. And then it identifies new markets where you can grow your market share or extend your company if you have the right services in place. We then tell that company, hey, work with our local partner, we'll help manage the process, and we'll ensure that that number that's red, the losing, goes down, back up towards 0, and the number that's in the green goes up. And you'll see it in real time as we do our work. So within the time we implement our work, you'll literally see the numbers change. And then after that, invest 35 to 40% of those savings back with us. And we'll make the next project for you, and then the next one. And 80% to 90% of what's being invested is going back to the local partner, not to Qosil. That's a key thing that we're doing, right? Because we are finding the money, instead of having money have to always come from the government, we're finding the money in the organizations to help them grow and funnel it back to local partners to build this. That's unique, right? I won't keep going through all this, but this is the path that we help people work through. Okay, so here's the most important part. What do we bring? We've got knowledge, we've got experience, but we also brought some really great tools with us too. Real-time data exchange is Qosil.app. We kind of covered that yesterday. I'm not going to cover it today. We'll probably have another class about Qosil.app. I know we will. Then also crypto standard interoperability. So there's a lot of talk in Kazakhstan around a blockchain and what blockchain can do, whatever. But I don't think people are looking at the full picture. It's not just about blockchain, right? Because blockchain is a single standard, right? It's a single hash standard. You have to validate the entire thing every freaking time. It has a lot of scalability issues, blah, 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 so forth and so on. However, there are other things out there. IOTA, if you're familiar with IOTA at all, IOTA has the Tangle. And the Tangle has been adopted by Volkswagen, Ford, so many other automotive companies, and it's really poised to be the language of autonomous driving, is IOTA. So they're not going to use blockchain, because the Tangle only validates 3. It validates 3, and then it rolls on, which means the more nodes you put in the Tangle, the more it expands its processing power, the faster it gets. It's ultimately scalable. But then there's also new stuff out there. There's a whole bunch of new stuff. So one of the things that we've brought to the table is the ability to implement a blockchain distributed network on one company, a Tangle on another, another protocol on another, and then make them all talk to each other. And even deeper than that, we don't just make them talk to one another, we also can take all the traditional data that's on your ERP or whatever, I don't care if it's in 1S, 1C, whatever, it doesn't matter, we can make all of them talk in real time. This is one of the powers of Qosil. Real nerd stuff. So this is how it works. I'm not going to go all the way in detail with this, but I will tell you this is our architecture. We don't mind sharing it. We don't mind letting you know exactly what we use to make the magic happen. And inside, I'm going to go really quick. I'm going to tell you that what we do inside of companies, which we call data producers, is that we implement OVAledge. It's that wonderful solution that I said that we can use to map and catalog. And we're about to jump deep into OVAledge. I'm going to give a really deep presentation about OVAledge. We're going to go through that. We also use Kafka Streams, and we can work with any data source in existence, whether it be an Excel file, or Microsoft SQL, or Cassandra, or anything. We don't care. You know, we can work with anything that you got, and we can work with it fast. We work here. This is our lead front-end developer and the head of our usability space, Mukhtar Jugger. Mukhtar has developed the entire front-end system. Everything you see here that is Qosil Connect, list, build, the app, and our monetization level to let people actually monetize their data sales into our network. So Qosil Connect actually connects back out to Facebook. It can integrate with MailChimp. If you come up with another local Kazakh solution tomorrow, it can pull data from that, and it can deliver it up. And a sample goes back out into our database in Qosil.list. Anyone can pull from the list. They can use our interface in Qosil.list. They use all the app and user permissions that are inside Qosil.app. This is between companies, between individuals, so forth and so on. We can create any kind of complex security that you need to restrict or allow access to data at any level. And then in Qosil.build, we use plain SQL in order to build out integrations between all of those applications. And then we launch that in Qosil.exe, which is built by, led by Gerard. I won't say only built by, but led by Gerard. And that's everything you see down here. So we serve it up into a Hadoop data lake. We attach Spark. We use Spark streaming from Kafka. And let me just for 5 seconds explain what this is. This is something different. You do integrations today. This is how it works. You go to the person you want to integrate data with. You talk to their tech team. You ask them what you want. They serve it up to you. Once they serve it up to you, you can then figure out how to integrate in your backend. They give you a term for which they can serve it up to you. 24 hours, 4 hours, whatever, like that. And you have huge limitations because your machines will determine whether or not you can go quick or fast. And if you have several jobs one together with level integrations, 9 out of 10, you don't have enough processing power to run multiple jobs at once. They conflict, everything shuts down. What did I just explain to you? I didn't explain to you how little Joe in the corner or little Abdul does stuff. I explained to you how the biggest companies in the entire world do it. Okay, this is different though. What this does is puts a local copy of that database somewhere else. That's a starting point. Once it's in the starting point, you don't have to update that again. Kafka Streams looks at your log files in the database, and from the log files figures out every single piece of data that would go into that to update it. So once you have the copies, now you have the stream that creates a perfect mirror. So now without touching resources, without impacting anything in the customer space, you're able to have a complete, exact, real-time copy of those systems in a place that's fully integrated with somebody else's, which is just the coolest thing you've ever heard of in your life. Because it means that you can just literally, as you're working, you know when 100 other vendors have clicked the button and how it impacted what you're doing. It's working at a whole other level. It allows you to do real-time supply chains that could be connected from China to Germany and have 100 people in the supply chain. Like say you're building a car or you're building a combine. You know, if you've seen these combines, big things that do corn. A combine has 60,000 parts in it. So between 60,000 parts, you can manufacture in 12 countries and have real-time data to the second to know everything that's going into those machines. That does not happen today. I'm telling you that for a fact because we know it. We work at the places, they don't, it doesn't happen. So we've done this and we decided to put this here. This part right here will go into another day, but this is our Qosil.edge, and we're actually building edge server capacity inside of more places inside. Kazakhstan was the first place we're doing it. Just to give you like a peeky, I won't go deep into it, the kind of consolidation we're doing, we can put an exabyte data center in a room smaller than this. And that's a huge thing, because exabyte data centers normally take up 2 times the size of this floor. Okay. I was trying to see the change. I didn't know the change. So this is the other part with our integration. Qosil.freedom is based on HoloChain, and we use HoloChain in order to do this thing with interoperability between different hash protocols. I won't go deep into HoloChain because that was yesterday, but it works with this thing called DNA. It's user-centric. I won't go deep into it at all. Yesterday was the time for that. We went through it over, and then we'll talk about it another day. So that's it. That's who we are, and I want to stop there just to say who we are. Now I'd like to do this. I'd like to go really deep into OBOR. And the reason I want to go deep into OBOR is this. Let me first explain to you the case and the problem, and then what it solves. So there's a trend right now to consolidate data amongst different people, right? So here in Kazakhstan, NITEC has consolidated all the data resources of the government. In the United States, we have a different department that's actually been established under the Obama administration to consolidate data against all government organizations. They all have to put data in one place, right? Which, I have some insight on that. A lot of data is crap. But they all put it in one place and they spend an enormous amount of money to put it there. Now, the problem is with so much data, you can't figure out what the hell it is, and you can't figure out how it's connected. It's just too much, right? In Kazakhstan alone, the Ministry of Health has 600 petabytes of data. It's not easy to go out and just to do anything with. To integrate data, to analyze data, you have to have a deep knowledge of the data. You have to know what it is, where it came from. Is first name the same as just name? Is location an address in a city, or is location just an address for the street? These little complications are huge. OBOR is our data cataloging software. Data cataloging is about 5 years old, period, like across the entire world, right? There have been data catalogs in the past, but they haven't been machine-driven. They've been very standardized. So that guy with the knowledge goes in, he says, here's my data, this is what it looks like, and he plugs in and types in what it is. Machine learning data catalogs are something that's a new invention. Machine learning data catalogs take a crawler, they go out to the servers, they find every single piece of data, they catalog everything in the schema and the log files and all the metadata, and they bring it out into a catalog in one place where you can see everything, every field, every value, everything. And then a separate machine learning goes out and starts doing, basically the machine learning part is not aided, it's individual machine learning. So it goes out and it says, okay, what's this? That looks like a name. That looks like a name. Do they have consistencies in the values? Okay, they're related to each other. Now, not only are they related to each other, but they're foreign keys and associations down the line. So these information are indicated. Here I've got orders inside the e-commerce system, but over here inside the CRM system, I've got problems and issues, right? I know that these problems and issues and orders are all for the same guy, right? So it does that on its own. You just send it out, it does it, it builds relationships, makes it happen. So we're going to go into that. I'll also tell you that data catalogs are very expensive. Because it's so new, and because what it does is so huge, and it offers so much value, the cheapest one that you can buy outside of our solutions is about $230,000 for the ability to search less than 100 petabytes. That's it, just to count 100 petabytes. IO Tahoe is actually one of our partners. They sold into the government in the United States. Their purchase there is about, their license fee is about $27 million, just to analyze the data that's there from the first shot, right? And that's an annual fee. We get paid every year. We have brought our catalog to Kazakhstan, and we brought it and we're selling it for $500 a month per user with unlimited data catalog. So you can go across as much as you want. We're the cheapest, most powerful data catalog in the entire world, and we've offered it in Kazakhstan before anybody else. So I think that's relevant. It means something. All right, so now I was hoping that I would have data connection by now, because now we've got to figure out how to get on the internet. I want to give a live class, so I think what we can do is take a quick little break, like about maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then I can make sure that we put the dongle in there. It's 10:55 right now. We're going to go one solid hour, 11 to 12, and go in. I guess other people just had a problem getting in, because she hasn't come back down here yet. So I'm going to also check and see if people are being turned away at the front door, which is a huge possibility. It's a huge possibility. And then I'm going to, then we're going to go ahead and jump into data catalogs and get there. And everyone has the great benefit of asking a hell of a lot of questions because not many people here. So I usually charge a lot of money per hour, so we get it for free. So that's awesome. So let's take a little break, 2 minutes, and then let's come back at 12:05.